Hello, this lecture is in continuation to the previous part. So there I was talking about the effective length. So this effective length provision is given in this clause. So first of all, I will show you this clause, and then we will try to find out what will be the effective length of the member. So here you can see this is the clause 7.5.2.1. So in this it says that when double angle discontinuous struts, when they are connected back to back on opposite sides of the gusset or a section by not less than two bolts or rivets in line along the angles at each end, or by the equivalent in welding, the load may be regarded as applied axially, which means it may be eccentric, but at the same time, we assume that it will be axially. The effective length in this case, which is K into L, K is the coefficient of the effective of the length. In this case, KL will be in the plane of end gusset shall be taken as 0.7 and taken as between 0.7 and 0.85. So basically, the coefficient of effective length, which is K value. So K value will be taken as between 0.7 to 0.85. Well, in most of the cases, we adopt 0.85 because by doing so, uh, we will be on the conservative side. So that is why in most of the cases, whenever we are trying to find out the compressive strength of the discontinuous double angle section, in that case, generally we take effective length of discontinuous angle section as 0.85 times of L, and L is the clear distance between the sections. So now I will show you this again on the slide. So yes, so here I have taken the effective length of the discontinuous struts here as 0.85 times of L, which is point. So L is already given in the question, which is 4 meter. So putting the value, we get effective length as 3.4 meter. So ultimately, now we have found the value of minimum radius of gyration, which is 31.4, and the effective length. So why we are finding these value? Because to calculate the effective slenderness ratio, which is the lambda value. So now we have found the LE value and R minimum. So we will put the value to calculate the value of lambda. So here now putting the value, we get lambda as 108, and again this value is less than the permissible value of the slenderness ratio. So as per table number 3, so there you can see this is a table in which the permissible value of lambda is given. So we have to satisfy our this value. This value should be less than the permissible value. So now I will show you this table number 3, and there I will show you what will be the permissible limit to check this value. So now going to the table number 3. So here in the IS code, IS 800, you can see this is the table number 3 that we have to check. So in the table number 3, there are various clauses which are given for the tension member and as well as for the compression member. So here we are trying to find out the compressive strength. So we will look for the compressive member criteria. So in the first case, if we look at, it says if a member is carrying compressive load resulting from the dead load and imposed load. In that case, maximum lambda value, maximum permissible value of lambda will be 180. Similarly, for tension member, it will be again same 180. And similarly, in all other 4 cases, it is given for the compression member and for the beam section. So all these criteria are not in our consideration in this question. So the first case, which is a member carrying compressive load resulting from dead load and the imposed load. So this will be our criteria. And as per this criteria, our lambda value, which we have calculated in the question, it should not exceed this permissible value, which is 180. So now going to the slide again, I will show you that again. So here our calculated value is 108, which is clearly less than the permissible value, which is 180. So this is how we find this 180 value from the IS code. Now we can say that our section is okay from the slenderness ratio permissible limit criteria. And now we are ready to go to find out the value of FCD, which depends on the lambda value and Fy value. So also we know the buckling class of the angle section, which is C. So I have already explained you this. So this is given in the table number 10, and there for each and every angle section, the buckling class will be referred as C class. So as buckling class is C, so we will find out the value of FCD from the table number 9C. So here it says for value of Fy equivalent to 250 MPa and lambda 108 and buckling class C. So we will look for table number 9C of the IS code. So with this table, we can find out the value of FCD. So again, I will show you that in the IS code. So there, this is the table that we have to look for to find out the value of FCD for our question. So our lambda value is 108, which is between 100 and 110. So here you can see the lambda value, which is KL by R, it is 100, and corresponding to this 100 value, if we look for Fy 250, so this value will be for the 100 lambda value. Similarly, for 110 lambda value, it will be 94.6. Okay, so this is how we look for, and now our value is between 110 and 100 sorry, 100 lambda value. So we have to do what? We have to interpolate it. So I have done the interpolation on the slide. So I will show you that. So there, the interpolation is done. And after interpolation, we find the FCD value for the given slenderness ratio is 96.73. So this is our FCD value. And now we found the FCD value, we can easily calculate the design compressive strength of this angle section. So design compressive strength, or in other words, we express it as PD. So it is the product of AE into FCD. AE is the effective cross-sectional area of the angle section, as we are using double angle section. So AE will be the product of area of cross-section of one angle multiplied by 2, because there are two angle sections which are connected together. In this case, FCD value now we have calculated. So putting the value, so we get the design compressive strength of the angle section when we put them opposite side of the gusset plate will be 258. So this is our case 1. In the case 2, it says when the angles placed on the same side of the gusset plate, which means this one. So earlier in the previous case, angles were placed opposite to each other. Like this one is the gusset plate, and one angle section was there, and the other section was on the left hand side. But in the second case, we have to provide this double angle section on one side only, and by providing both of them on one side, we have to find out now the compressive strength. So this compressive strength we will find out in the next part. Thank you.